Hey cuties, I'm Lanikia and you're watching What Happened on the Soaps. Today is Wednesday, November the 2nd, 2022. All right, y'all, let's get right into this. Listen, on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to give this one, because of certain people, I'm going to give it an 8. Okay, so we start off with Drew, Carly, and Sam. And so Carly about to tell Sam that, they decided to take their relationship to make it official. And Drew comes up and he says, I could tell her what you were about to say. And so he's beating around the bush talking about we're good friends, that we found out we worked well together. And so Sam was like, yeah, I know all that. Get to the point. And then he says, you know what? Can I talk to you in private? He tells Carly, and Spinelli comes up at this time. So Sam is distracted by him. And she says, I'm waiting. And Spinelli's like, what's going on? And she said, I'm waiting on them to tell me what I already know. So anyways, then Carly and Drew talk. And so he starts telling her, listen, Carly, I know you was about to tell Sam that we're official. And she was like, yeah, wait, do you want to tell her because of y'all relationship and everything? That does make sense. Girl, that's not it. This man don't want you to tell her, but he said, okay, so Ned and I had a conversation and it just kept, it got worse. So he said, and I went and talked to a lawyer because Ned made a threat. And she was like, well, what is it? And he said, he's threatened that if, he just threatened him about insider trading. And he said, you could be in a lot of trouble because of what happened. And she said, what? No. And she said, oh my gosh, I lost my hotel and now I'm gonna get investigated by the SEC. And he was like, no, Ned, Michael doesn't think Ned will actually go through with it, but he did make the threat. And the lawyer said that, yeah, there could be fines or possibly worth, because Alexis told him, y'all might go to jail for it, depending on how they feel about it. And so she's like, oh my gosh. She said, so what does this mean? Y'all, all this means is they can't be together. I said, well, see, this is what I don't like about General Hospital. I'm going to just be 1,000% honest with y'all. I got my hopes up with Brooklyn and Chase because, baby, they had chemistry to me. And I was ready for that relationship. And then all these obstacles got in their way. They couldn't be together. They wanted to say it, but then they were too scared to tell each other. And I lost interest. I'm not even interested in Carly and Drew. I'm not interested in these two. So you not letting them be together does nothing for me. I do not care that these two can't be together. But for those of you who do, let me go ahead and do. So Carly and Drew can't be together now because Ned has threatened to call SEC on them. SEC, I believe it was. But anyway, so now they can't be together. And so they're disappointed in everything because of that. But he said, girl, wild horses couldn't keep me away from them. He might not have said that, but that's what I heard. And so she was like, okay. So then they go to Sam and Spinelli and they say, all right, well, we're going to talk to y'all later. And Sam said, stop before it even happened. And Spinelli is like, what are you talking about? And she says nothing. So then we see Carly and Drew and he makes it home with her and they're like, oh, we gotta be secret. I say, oh Lord. And so he kisses her goodbye and she goes in the house. And then we see Sam and Spinelli and she tells him that she needs help with Cody Bell because she tells him about Britt and finding the necklace. And he says, so you are like thinking that that's why he was really interested in Britt. And she said, and they were both like, it makes sense, don't it? And they were like, yes, it does. And so because of that, they say, well, what are we going to do? Because she told Spinelli, are you still doing your whole society setups, even though you could go to prison? And he said, yes, he hasn't stopped it yet. And she said, well, since you guys can get all this information on people through society setups, what I'm going to need you to go ahead and do is get information on Cody. And he said, what? You just told me. She said, I know what I said, but this person is going to be in Maxie's life, which means he's going to be in Georgie's life. And so we need to get information on him because he's going to be in Dante's life. And he said, do you think we could have Dante help? And she said, no, just based off what you've done, no. And he said, oh, yeah, well, thank you for looking out for me. So anyways, they're going to investigate Cody to see who he really is and what he's really up to. Let's move on, child. So then we see Cody, Liesl, Scott, and Britt. And she had invited him out to drinks with them. And they're just like, ugh. But Lisa goes and she speaks to Britt, and so that leaves Cody and Scott to talk. And Scott just tells Cody, I know a con when I see one. So you could save all that apology, and even if it sounds sincere, I don't believe you because I know a con artist when I see a con artist. And so that was it with that part, y'all. He was just like, I really am sorry, and I don't, I would like to hear more stories about his mom. And Scott said that could be arranged. So I was like, well, what are y'all doing? Are y'all? Anyways, let's move on. So then Britt and Liesl talk, and she tells her she don't want her with him. She says he's a bum and he's no good, and you could do better. And Britt said, I like him. And what if people judge just based on our past? And so Lisa was like, okay. And so then they all come back to the table, and Scott mentions Lucy, and Cody says, I have my diving certificate. Excuse me, guys. He says, I have my diving certificate, so I could help you guys as far as, going down to try to look for Lucy. And they say, Scott says, no, that won't be necessary because they got, all these other people looking. But Lisa was just like, oh, you're a man of all trades. Now they continue to talk, and Scott tells them that he might be Mac's son, and he says, but you're gonna have to have, your behind can't ride two horses. And they said, what does that mean? And Lisa said, you're gonna have to choose which way you want to go. You're gonna have to choose which way you want to be. You want to be good, you want to be bad. Which way do you want to be? And so they started talking about the necklace and everything. And she says, how do you know there was real jewels? And this is Lisa to Cody. And he says, oh, because I read somewhere diamonds scratch glass. And she was like, she don't believe him. She does not believe him. No, ma'am, not in the mic. She does not believe him. But I don't know. Britt wants to believe Cody, so that is what it is. So he's talking to them, and then Britt's taking sips of wine, and she's coughing. And because Lisa asked her earlier, did you tell him about your sickness? And she said, no, not yet. Like they're not that close, and she doesn't like him that much. She doesn't trust him like she trusted Jason. And so she's just like, okay. But as they're coughing, Scott and Lisa look over. I don't know if Scott knows or not. I don't think he does. But they look over at Britt because they know something's wrong. And Britt is like, it seems to be happening a lot lately. So I guess her disease is progressing, which if she does leave the show, okay, y'all, we gonna go to Elizabeth and her mama and daddy. So Elizabeth's parents, they tell her, yes, he had the affair, but they said, she was like, you killed her, didn't you? And so the mama was like, yeah, no, it was, and he says, no, let me tell it. So he tells Elizabeth, it was you. And she says, oh, no, this ain't true. And she said, oh, mama, you so wrong, gaslighting your child for a man. Oh, I can't even believe this. And they said, think. And so she started thinking back, and Elizabeth does remember being the one that, it did when her back, when she thought back, it didn't look like she pushed a woman. It looked like it was all on accident, but it still happened. And so she was like, oh my gosh, I did do it. Oh my gosh. And then so she said, so what happened? And so did she kill her, y'all? Or did y'all tell me what happened? I'm so confused on this story. Michael, if you're watching, explain it to me because I am lost. Like, did she kill the girl, or did she just hurt her and it led to her disease? Because I thought she died from like you were saying yesterday, I thought she died another way from a disease, and Finn I knew he couldn't cure his best friend, but I thought something happened with his wife as well. And this is so, I'm gonna be honest with y'all, I like Elizabeth. I do like Elizabeth, and I'm disappointed in how they've done this storyline. But let's move on, y'all. So she tells them, so what happened? And they said, afterwards, you had nightmares. You did remember you had nightmares. You were sleepwalking. She was doing all these different things. And they said, so what they decided to do with her was give her give her counseling to suppress the feelings and also put her on medication. So she said, you drugged me and brainwashed me. They said, no, we were trying to help you. She said, no, you were trying to save your reputation. And they said, no, you know, you're a parent, you know, you'll do anything for her kids. And she said, y'all not gonna tell me that you were trying to help me, because and then you drugged me, brainwashed me, and then you sent me on my way. This was about you, not me. And so Elizabeth leaves, and then the way the mama turned around and looked at the dad with kind of like not it was looking like almost a smile on her. I don't know, child. I'm done with Elizabeth's storyline, to be quite honest with you. The only reason I even review Elizabeth and Drew and Carly is because I know y'all like them, because I could go and just talk about my favorite people on this, to be honest. So then we go to Alexis, and Alexis has gotten a message from the killer. Now, y'all, I think the killer is Maggie. Let me explain. Because, okay, so she tells them, get Jordan over here. So Jordan and Dante come over, and the killer says, I'm going to get back everyone who wronged me and mine. I said, so this is either Esme's mama or it's Maggie. It's either the mama or it's Maggie. Is Maggie Esme's mom? I don't know. I don't think it's Heather Weber. She's been locked up. And it's got to be Maggie. Because I don't know if it's Esme or not. If there's another attack while Esme is locked up, then I think it would be her, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure, y'all. Y'all tell me what you think. I'm sorry. I'm deep in thought trying to figure it out. But anyways, they tell Alexis, because Alexis said, do you think I should reply back? And they're like, no. And she said, do you think I should publish it? And they're like, no, you shouldn't publish it, nor should you reply back, because this has nothing to do with that. It's all about, this is all about us trying to find the killer. And if you do that, then it makes it public, and we don't want all this information becoming public. I'm sorry, y'all. Mila's in the background. And so they tell her, if you keep this private, we'll give you some information. And she said, okay. So then we see Gregory and Alexis, because she had to tell somebody. So she went and told him, and he's like, so what are you going to do? And he said, what if the police don't live up to their end of the bargain? She said, then I would release the information. And so he said, you need to be careful, because, you know, you don't know who this killer is and what they'll do next. So then we see Jocelyn and Trina talk. And so when Jocelyn and Trina are talking, they both talk about their experiences. Jocelyn said she was intimate with Cam, but it wasn't the connection she was hoping to be, because you want Dex now. And because you want Dex, you don't have this connection with Cam anymore, and that's the bottom line. You want Dex. And so then Trina started telling her about her experience with Rory, and she was like, in the middle of, you know, being intimate with Rory or trying to make out with him, she started thinking about Spencer. And she's like, but maybe it was just because Victor had told me I need to see him, visit him. And she said, no, it's because you really still care for Spencer, and all he could talk about was you when we went to see him, because she tells him that her and Cam, and that he knows that Trina knows he knew from the beginning. She said, so Trina's like, that might have been why he called me. And she said, Spencer called you? And she was like, yeah, but I missed it because my phone was on Do Not Disturb. And so since her phone was on Do Not Disturb, she said she went ahead and she missed the call, but she doesn't know how she feels. She says she's gonna just focus on Rory, because Rory's a good guy, and Spencer, you know, she's been through a lot with him, and plus they like Esme took a lot from us as well, and they just want to live normal, happy lives. And she said, so we'll both focus on the good guys. And Jocelyn's like, yeah. I said, Jocelyn do not want Cam. She wants a bad boy. She wants Dex. The same with you, Trina. Cam and Rory are good guys, but y'all don't want them. So then Jordan comes over. They get a knock at the door, and Jordan comes over, and she says, I need to speak to Jocelyn and Trina. And so she speaks to them, right? And while she's speaking to them, Carly comes. And Carly's like, hey, Jordan, what is this about? And she said, it's about the hook killer. We find out that they're targeting someone, and the intended target was Jocelyn. And Jocelyn was like, oh my gosh, so you mean Brando was collateral damage? Like they were after me? And Carly said, wait, they were after Jocelyn, and they said the hook killer has one target and one connection. And Trina was like, it's me. And they were like, yeah, it's you, Trina. You're the connection to the hook killer. And so they're like, oh my gosh. And y'all, that was General Hospital today. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. And I will see you tomorrow for all new episodes of What Happened on the Hope's General Hospital edition. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.